Well, congratulations to Fabricio Werdum, who actually managed to beat Fedor in Strikeforce. Not something I thought would happen, certainly not something I thought would happen in that way. It was quite a short fight, although it looked like Fedor had the upper hand to begin with. After getting him down to the ground, he ended up in a triangle and a sort of armbar combination at the same time, and he actually submitted. So it's what you might call a legitimate loss. I don't think anybody can argue that. I'm sure they will do a Werdum versus Fedor 2, and I'm not so sure still that Fabricio will win this time round. I'm not saying it's a fluke. I think it's genuine. I think the win's completely genuine. But I do think that usually Fedor would win, and it's not very often that we've seen Fedor have a bad night. Apparently he was emotionless in defeat, and to his credit, he was reasonably sound of character in what he said afterwards. I don't think particularly that this damages Strikeforce. You know, they have had a little bit of difficulty recently. Dan Henderson didn't put on a spectacular performance when he moved over to them, and now Fedor has lost as well. But I think they can market this by doing a rematch. I do think they can market it, and I think only if Fabricio were to win again, as convincingly and as quickly, would the sort of the magic of Fedor, so to speak, be truly broken. I think until that happens, he's still way out there. You know, whether it's all factual and truthful, you know, you could argue that he hasn't fought the best, I suppose. He's kind of become a mythological figure, hasn't he, really? I don't know. I think until they do a rematch, we shouldn't worry too much about, you know, the last emperor being felled, so to speak. So usually I would do this sort of recap in part of my blog, but because of that, and that was a tremendous upset, I thought it deserved its own video. I'll run through how I did with the rest of my predictions in brief as well. Actually, apart from Fedor, I did alright in Strikeforce. I went for Kung Lee and I went for Josh Thompson, both of which won. I believe that sets up a trilogy now for Kung Lee, possibly. Despite the fact that a lot of people got at me for taking my time over deciding on Josh Thompson over Pat Healy, it was actually one apiece. So I scored it in rounds before the third round, where Josh Thompson won by choke. So, you know, I wouldn't necessarily class it strictly as a, you know, a complete domination. We'll move on to Bellator. I did fantastically in Bellator. I went for Alexander Shlemenko and he won. I went for Joe Warren and he won. I went for Nick Marmalis, and I couldn't remember why I went for Nick Marmalis, and you know I still can't remember why. But it was a good call because he won as well. Brent Weedman, although for some reason on the official website they've forgotten to put the result on his, he did actually win, so well done to him as well. He did turn out to be the sucker punch fighter that I thought he was. Rossi Sexton didn't win. In fact, she suffered quite a nasty knockout, so unfortunate there. Caged on the Coast, I went for Jesse Peacock, Matt Lowry and Brad Hanna. Do you know, I have no idea how they went. Their website hasn't been updated yet, and I can't find the information on any other source, so no idea there. An XFO I went for Joey Dial, and he won as well. So I didn't actually do that bad at all this time. Pity about Rossi Sexton, and I don't think many people saw the upset with Fabricio Werdum over Fedor Emelianenko happening, so I don't feel too bad about that.